Hello everybody. We hope you're all enjoying yourselves today at Andam and Samantha's wedding. I'm Andam's Nana Naya.
And I'm Papa Bruce.
And this day to us is a very special event, and we're very sorry we can't be there with all of you to celebrate it. If Andam seems a little bit linguistically challenged at times, it's because he learnt his first English from me with my Australian accent. We would be there only for the great Pacific Ocean dividing us and age. Let me take you back to when we met Andam and the Jabbar family in 1990. This was Andam, the dearest, sweetest little 4.5-year-old boy. Bruce, my husband, wanted to come back to Canada, his home country, from Australia after many years. We arrived with little to do in our spare time, so after some weeks I sought out some volunteer work and settling new immigrant families. Although I spoke English, I found it hard learning all there was in a new country, making friends, so let alone what it was like for people who had no English and no family. Meeting the Jabbars was the beginning of a love affair that has endured until today and beyond. I have to say at this point, helping new immigrants has to be the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. When I met Andam, his parents Tahar and Kafia and sister Akam and later Aram and Alan, I immediately knew I could be very good friends with this young family. Andam's parents are wonderful people who face severe crises in their lives that most of us would shrink from and buckle under from. They have to be the most courageous, tenacious people I know, and their love of family outshines everything they do. Andam was 4 years old when we met and spoke no English, and his father Tahar spoke a little amount. Of course, for Andam this frustrated him because he couldn't ingratiate himself soon enough with us. So for a time, the whole family had to play charades. And this took some great acting performances, I can tell you, because chicken sounded like kitchen. I saw him almost every day, and I did my best speaking English to him whilst pointing to everything around us while we walked all over the West End, English Bay, Stanley Park, enjoying ourselves for a few years. Of course, he never answered me back in those early days and was so frustrated. One day his dad visited us, impressed, and told us that Andam had learnt some new words, over here and over there. He had begun to speak these few words and began calling me banana. We would entertain people on the Granville ferry with him calling out to me, banana, banana. I thought it was amusing, but his dad had to explain to him that I was not a fruit. Suddenly it was as though he'd bottled up a whole English dictionary in those months. And out it all came, reams and reams of words, because initially all he could speak was Turkish and Kurdish, so there was a mixture of everything. After months of watching TV and listening to the BC Tel recorded message man and playing back his own form of English, he literally burst into speaking like there was no tomorrow, and from then on I felt sure he was going to grow up to be a used car salesman, so sure of all his beliefs. We got to hear all kind of fanciful stories and how we related to his new world. Being an old street marcher from way back, I was very impressed and taken in his very politically active young mind, calling me up to 4 times a day to tell me all about George Bush Sr.'s news. For all you present here tonight, I can't tell you how much joy this uncomplicated, unspoilt child brought us constantly. So we were all on a constant learning curve as he explored his new relationships in his new world. As two families without any families of our own in Canada, we became one, all learning the ways of the new country. Although Bruce, to an extent, did know the ways, but it had been 40 years since he'd lived there. Andam had grown up never celebrating birthdays in Kurdistan, Iraq, so I have to say his 5th birthday was the most special social event I have ever attended. To witness the joy on this child's face, seeing his first birthday cake I ordered from Eaton's department store, covered in cream and fruit, was something I'll never forget. Then followed Halloween and the excitement with Christmas. We cooked a turkey and introduced them to Christmas trees and gift giving. Andam grew up always a very happy person, appreciative of every effort that you put in for him. To this day, he keeps in touch with us by phone. It was a great pleasure when he brought Samantha down in November to visit us here in Australia, and where they got engaged on our beach nearby. I knew it was going to happen, and the anticipation was building days beforehand. And this particular day, she didn't want to go to the beach. The one and only day she did not want to go back to the beach. And it was very difficult for us to get her out the door because he had the ring in the pocket. She wanted to vacuum instead. But the best part was witnessing Samantha's face as she burst in the door later on in shock, disbelief and happiness. When Andam met Samantha, he would tell me about her, and I knew instantly she was the right girl for him. I love her sense of family and homeliness, and she's blessed with a unique set of skills called cooking, which I can tell you today is a very rare skill, much wanted by us older folk. Yes, Sam, Bruce ate every one of your muffins you baked for him because you made them with love. And he loved them, didn't you?
Oh, I did indeed.
And he hasn't had any since. Even though you thought they were too dry, he persevered, bathing them in a water bath and steaming them in the microwave. He wasn't about to give up. And you gave us such a gift in November with your presence, bringing Samantha down here to meet us. Bruce was so happy taking you camping in our unique Australian bushland with lots of wildlife, where you had birds landing on your heads and kangaroos around. We shared a wonderful time with you both, and always, whenever you come, Andam, it's like we have never been apart. Our hearts lock back into sync with each other. I particularly loved our dinner time, Samantha, when you would engage in some deep, thoughtful, philosophical discussions with us. And I'm extremely proud of the way you've grown into manhood with deep compassion, empathy and respect for all your fellow men, and how you carry that into your business. You have a heart of gold, full of love for everyone who comes close to you. At the same time, you've developed an astuteness that I deeply respect and admire. Life has not been easy for you and your family, but through the courage and loyalty displayed by your parents, you've grown into a wonderful human being with high morals and ethics. Life is never static, I've learnt in my long life. If someone had told me that when I was a young suburban housewife in Australia, that I would one day live in Canada and meet a young Kurdish boy that blessed my life, I would never in my wildest dreams have believed it. Life is sure a journey with many twists and turns, and some dead ends. It's how we traverse the dead ends or the adversity that we face that really makes meanings of our life. I know you and Samantha will have the maturity and understanding and knowledge that life will have its ups and downs, but you will handle whatever comes your way with strength, self-compassion and courage. I know from both of your personalities that you will always find that middle ground and take time for each other's needs to be respected and heard when the going gets tough. Marriage, as we all know, can have its difficulties at times. So when faced with the hurdles, I hope, Andam, you'll always draw from the strength of your parents, who have crossed more bridges than anyone I know, with grace, courage, love against all odds. Both of your cultural backgrounds mesh beautifully together, and we know you will have a wonderful, happy future together. Andam, you brought us so much joy, and I am sure you will bring that and so much more to beautiful Samantha as your wife. I hope you have a long life together, and our love and support will continue always. Have you got anything to say, Papa Bruce?
No, I think you've done a great job, and we send you all our love and best wishes.
Yes, and I hope you can all have a drink for us. We would like that. I long to eat clam chowder again and have Caesar salad dressing. There are a few little things that I miss in Canada. So I hope that today you might get some of that. But I'm not sure what the menu is. I would have liked to have known what the menu is, because Papa Bruce and I are dressed up here, as you can see today, and we are celebrating the wedding too, without the breakfast. Here on our dining room table with the placemats, but no meal. Maybe takeaway tonight, because this is Saturday and it's a special night. So goodbye from us, the Australian Connection, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye for now.